So, the biggest console this year for Christmas, Starfield and Sony's PlayStation Spartacus. We got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it.
I love you,
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. This is episode 80. I am your host, Godly Sovereign, and of course, I have my handsome co-host with me, Sir Knight. What's good, my man? How's it going?
It's going good, man. Going good. How you been, bro?
I've been doing good, man. I've been chilling, getting in, game time in as often as possible. I was able to kill Resident Evil 8 last weekend. So
you beat it, huh?
Yeah, I was smashing on that one, man. I enjoyed the hell out that game. So
wow.
I was like, I'm trying to get back on it. I was like staying up mad late, waking up mad early. I think it took me probably like maybe 13 or 14 hours just because I was constantly like looking and searching and everything, trying to find like everything I could. So I think they said that the game takes about 8 to 10 hours. So I took a little bit longer.
Was it creepy or was it pretty chill?
It was creepy in some ways, but I actually, because of the stuff, I thought it wasn't that creepy. Like I thought it wasn't that bad. I was actually more creeped out by Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Okay, because I was pretty creeped out by 7, dude.
Yeah, I saw that they seemed like they were killable. You know what I mean? Like I found their weaknesses pretty early, as I went through the story and stuff like that. And I like the way they did the bosses, in 8. But in 7, dude, like the whole that old man like antagonizing you the entire time you're going through the house, it's just like it's annoying. And then it's like you think you can run away from him, and then like if he's close to you, because you don't run that fast, he'll just grab your ass, turn you around, and you're like, oh shit, like, or you just get hit. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn, dude, I can't get away from this guy. So it intensified my anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, so
were you playing it on easy or were you playing it on normal?
I played it when I killed him. I was playing it on normal.
Okay. Right.
I switched it to easy after that first boss fight with him. Easy. And I was like, I'm done. Like, it's too much for me, for my heart.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted a little bit more of a chill time. So I swapped it to easy. And then I was kind of just enjoying it a bit because I was more just enjoying, like, exploring the houses and, like, solving the puzzles. I wasn't as afraid of the mom, and so it's like I was a little bit, it was just more fun for me. Like, so it wasn't like.
Wait, are you talking about the grandma or the wife?
The wife.
Okay, all right.
I haven't got to the grandma yet, actually. The wife is as far as I think.
The grandma, her old ass just be popping up all over the house and shit. And I mean, what the hell is she doing? I don't know.
So I don't know how far you in. You're pretty far in Biohazard now, then, huh?
No, I'm not. I literally started today, so I'm not that far. Like I've gotten the Scorpion key, and I don't know what is after that, but I'm still, running from that dude, and I'm trying to.
Have you actually fought him yet? A one-on-one, like inside, where you actually finally he's done?
No. I haven't killed him. I haven't.
Okay.
He's still following me around the house and stuff. Okay. So I haven't gotten that far yet. But yeah, man. But I'm just finding myself more creeped out by these, these people with their lifelike faces and just like always popping up. It seems like there's a lot more jump scare type shit and like constant. Like I see exactly like playing. The only reason I played 7 after I played 8. Was because I was like, oh, okay, this story is like tied together. It's it's a continuation. So I want to go back and see how all of this little shit began or whatever with the mold or whatever. And so I was like, let me try this. But I see like the relentless following, the hunting that man does in the house is the same thing that Lady Dimitrescu does in 8. So I'm like, okay, they just jocked this whole thing right here. But Dimitrescu was like a lot easier to deal with than this dude. I feel like, in 8 you were able to enhance your running speed eventually, and you were able to just like dodge easier and do different things like that. This dude, I feel like because the house is so tight, it's hard to dodge him. Like you're gonna get hit, so you're like constantly, blocking and stuff like that. So it's a little annoying. But
I killed him though. Like I came across him one time, and he chased me into the bathroom or whatever, and I killed him in the bathroom. I killed him in there.
So you can kill him, but you're wasting so much ammo. It's just like, dude, I have those other mold things coming out of the walls that I need to kill, and like I'm not finding plethora, amounts of ammo. So it's like I
kill him, like he no longer bothers you until like the next segment of the game.
Oh well, I know it's like certain parts, like he'll be quiet or whatever, but I always go to that main room where the dog heads are, and then his ass just always pops up.
But if you killed him in the house, then you won't have to deal with him anymore.
I've killed him. I've killed him at least 3 times, but I guess I'm finding the next pieces or whatever to move the story along. So his ass just keeps popping up. But yeah, I thought it was like, ooh, I could kill him.
I killed him and I didn't see him again until I went down to the basement and I killed him. I did the big boss fight with him, and then I never saw him again after that. He was toast. He was gone.
Yeah, you looked out. Maybe it's something that like triggers him, like you do something specific, or
because he triggered for me in the house, but I didn't want to deal with him, so I just killed him.
Yeah,
and then I didn't even realize I could just sneak around the whole time while he was in the house. I didn't even realize that.
I bet it's so tough. It's tough to like sneak around.
It seemed like that's what people were playing. They just completely and utterly avoided him the whole time. So I was like, okay, I didn't even realize that. I thought I had to deal with him.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to like, if I see him or whatever, I'll try to like run and get away from him as quick as possible, and then just like try to dip around some corners or whatever and then hide. But what I've found is that if you go through the doors that require the keys, he doesn't follow. So if you go through the scorpion doors when you have the key, he'll never go through there. So I was in the grandma's room chilling. After I found some shit because he was lurking in the rec room or whatever, and he never came into the room to like search it, so I was good. And then if I'm in the main hall, I just run through that scorpion door that I unlocked, and
that's why
he just disappears.
That's like because that guy and the things that happened. I was really shocked to hear that you were like so hooked on 8 because I was pretty creeped, and so I kind of had to like kind of build my mood up to kind of like jump into 7. It wasn't like, oh, damn, I can't wait to get back in there. Like, even though I really liked 7, like, I thought it was really cool. And, like, it's just, like, really, it's a well-done game. It was just more so, like, it wasn't giving me that itch where, like, I couldn't wait. And so to hear that, I was like, I wonder if 8's a little different than 7. Because 7 was pretty.
Have you played 8 at all yet?
No, I haven't touched 8.
Oh, so you trying to finish 7 before you start 8?
Yeah, but right now I've been playing Cyberpunk. So I've been Cyberpunk for a minute.
Nice. Where are you at in Cyberpunk right now?
I like it, man. Like all I've done is I beat the whole opening prologue and epilogue. Not epilogue. Johnny Silverhand's segment.
Oh, okay.
And so right now, like I just woke up. I was healed up, but I just woke up. Right. I'm having the visions. Johnny's talking to me and stuff. So like that's as far as I've got into it.
Dude, man, I'm like this close to. Arachnid Soul says, "Hey, what's good, man? How you doing? Glad you could pop in." But yeah, dude, I told you, man. Cyberpunk is just a really good game, dude. Like as much as we could shit on it, as much as other people could try to shit on it, that game is awesome, man. Like if you have a powerful enough system, it's just good how it is.
Like I'm really shocked actually on how really freaking awesome the story is. Like I didn't realize how hooked I'd be more on the story. I thought I'd be more hooked on the gameplay. Like because for me in Witcher, like I was more hooked on the gameplay, right? Like
on the side quests and different shit.
The side quest, exploring the world. That was what got me hooked with The Witcher. The game, the story was just all right to me, but this one, dude, freaking Cyberpunk. I'm like hooked on the story. Like I can't. Like I was up late one night because I was so hooked on like trying to get through to the story because I was having so much fun because it's so sick. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like when you're trying to break into that dude's house and then like they come back and you have to hide and you're watching that scene from behind the glass. Like,
right. As a dude
just all that whole thing was just like had me on. I was loving it. And so I was like, what's so cool about this is the story. And like the acting is just really great. The voice acting is like excellent. I think Keanu's dope. I think like another thing too that I'll say about it is it's still not quite fixed yet with its polish. Like it's really close though. Like when you
it's like a couple of things that they need to slightly do. Yeah, a couple of things that they need to.
It's not just like glitches or bugs. It's like if you walk around in the world, though it feels pretty authentic. Like the way that people move and act are pretty authentic. But any little thing that like disrupts the world, and the people like they over exaggerate, it like breaks. It's like the ambiance of the world like breaks. Like the normalcy of the world like breaks. Like for instance, dude, like I walked out like right when I first started playing and I first got my apartment. I walked out of my apartment and I was trying to press the button that lets me scan things, right?
Right.
But I pressed the other bumper on accident, and that's the grenade. And so like I pulled a grenade.
Yeah, you threw some shit.
What do I do with this? And I was cooking it and I was like, shoot, I just threw it out. Like I threw it out over the edge. It didn't feel like way down below. But dude, when it popped off, the whole world around me, the whole world just like broke.
What you mean, bro?
Everyone just like crouched down. The whole world, like no one continued.
They thought you was about to get active, man.
Nah, but it's not like realistic. Like in my mind, if that happened, people might like go over the edge and like look. They might go look and see what happened. They wouldn't just like immediately like respond to exactly what I'm doing, or it just kind of broke the world a bit, and everyone did identically the exact same thing. Like there was no variation between anybody, no different reactions. Literally everyone in every corner of the whole entire map, like every level, like did like it was like, oh dude, it's like weird, like how quick like the ambiance breaks. There's like lots of ambiance breaks in it.
Yeah. So Ragnar had commented
that'd be better, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so Ragnar had commented a couple times saying, my tip on Cyberpunk is to do side quests, make your own world. I thought the main plot was not as interesting as everything else. I have still not finished the game. I agree on some of it. I mean, I thought that the main story is like, it's cool, but I do agree that the side quests are like the shit. Like all of the intricate different side quests, the little shit gun, like all of the other ones. Like I thought some of them were like really dope and creative. So that was like one of the things that I was like looking for the most. Like like, oh, let me do this side quest over here, or I saw this gun or whatever, and and I'll go and do that side quest or whatever. But I haven't finished the game, just like you. Just like you said later that you said you're waiting till next year for them to finish it. I believe that they said that they were going to be having like some DLCs that they were throwing in there, and I think all that shit's for free at this point. I can't see them charging and then like not getting egg on their face.
I don't know what do you mean you're waiting for them to finish it?
Well, because there's like some he's waiting for like that PS5 update or whatever, right? When they do that, they should have fully, I presumably fully fleshed out like all of the real bug issues, as well as adding in all of the extra little content and stuff that they were planning for the most part. I mean, if they had some stuff later, it would have to have like a tremendous like resurrection from the dead for them to just add like a whole new DLC. But they've added some DLCs already.
From what I understand, they've completely they announced or whatever that they're no longer going to be focusing on fixing the game anymore. They're working on additional content now. So I don't think there's going to be anything more. Like I don't know what you're really waiting for anymore. Like I think it's about as fixed as it's going to be. Like I said, like I haven't ran into,
at that point.
The only thing would be like 4K because you already have it in 60 frames per second. So if your TV upscales to 4K, then it's not going to be that much better if you get like it in native. Like the only thing I guess you're waiting for is like 4K, but it's basically fixed if you're playing on a next gen console. Like if you're playing on a current gen, I don't know, maybe your experience might suck, but I played on Xbox and I haven't had a single breaking bug like at all. So the only thing I have are those immersion breakers, where like, one little thing happens and the whole world just kind of like breaks. But then it eventually fixes once it like reloads or whatever. But so I'm kind of like very careful about what I do because I don't want that immersion break. Like in some games, like you might like, like for instance in GTA, like if I pull a gun out, maybe one or two people might run away, but not like the whole.
Not everybody,
right? Like it's not like a full immersion break, right? So like this game is still broken there, but as far as like the bugs, like I haven't walked around with like my clothes off. I haven't like fallen through the planet or fallen in the car, or seen trees dipping. I think all those like major bugs are kind of like fixed for the most
gone for the most part, yeah.
But I just I thought it was like, I loved it. Like I was so hooked on that storyline, and like the whole point with like Johnny Silverhand was like super cool. It made sense, why I had to put it in my head, the chip in my head, and all of a sudden why it got connected to me. It was pretty neat about the technology that resurrected my body. Like I just wanted to know more. I wanted to get more and more information on the main story. But I mean, I haven't really dived too deep into. I haven't dived too deep into the side quest, but I really
Arachne. It is an amazing world, dude. It is. I've liked it. I mean, dude, Ray, like just like like he's saying, like if you go out there and you just explore like the streets and stuff like that, you'll waste like mad hours just out there just finding like random shit, dude. And he'll be like, oh damn, I gotta go over here to do this main quest. Let me go ahead and do this so that I can do stuff. But
yeah, that's cool.
I don't think that do you remember how in Valhalla you had to do like basically you needed to do the main quest for like the first like 30 minutes until you were able to achieve or retrieve like all of your assassin gear and stuff like that, and then you could finally like roam and play the game like how you should play it? Do you recall that at all?
Yeah, I know what you mean. You have to do like the prologue before you can even like really get to the world to play, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah, because you had to like go to you had to go to like England or whatever, and then meet the people there, and then meet that guy there, who's part of the Assassin's Guild, and then you could become part of an assassin. You get that stuff, and then you're able to assassinate. But it's like they don't really tell you, you know what I mean? So you're just like, well, damn, when do I get it? But you want to explore and shit. So it's like, I can't explore because I have to fight these guys like regularly. I can't just like, assassinate and stuff, and do all that. But what's nice is like this one, it just allows you to just roam like off rip. Like you're not like forced to do like any specific thing. Well, it makes you do everything you have to do.
The only thing I'll say to that is I don't know if it's different from where you started, but I did a nomad, so I started as nomad. So I was.
Oh, you started out there in the wilderness.
So I started out in the wilderness, and so I had to like do a little bit of story, just a little, like a tiny bit to get into Night City, because I started outside of Night City. So I don't know how different it would be for someone else.
I was a corpo, so I started in the city.
Dude, when like it started, and I walked. Dude, it was so gorgeous. The outside world, like the dunes and like the towns are so well freaking detailed and authentic. I was just like, I stopped and just was like staring at the world. I was like blown away by how good it looked. Yeah, I was like, this game is cool. And then when the story started rolling, I was just digging it, man. Like all of it. I loved it.
Dude, Arachne says he's only done like 3 main quests. Bro, you gotta do some of the main story, man. You meet a lot of cool people. And you have access to like pretty cool weapons when you do like the main story. You get access to a lot of dope weapons and stuff like that are on like the enemy's bodies and stuff, So I would definitely pop that sucker back in and do some of that main story.
Yeah, man. You telling me you don't like the main storyline?
60 hours.
Come
60 hours is a long ass time.
You're not no authority on that storyline. You're not no authority on that storyline. Come on. No, like I agree, Stone. Like here's another thing too, man. Like, I wasn't.
Wait. Did you see what Arachne said? That somebody's gonna be releasing a mod, the 2077 VR mod. So that would be like nice, dude.
Kind of modder on the PC.
I mean, it's probably on the PC, but it would be nice to have that shit on the PlayStation, dude.
I guess, yeah, I can understand that.
But
anyway, basically what I was saying was like when I first started the game, I actually kind of wanted to restart because when you first start the game, you have to pick like your concentration. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, and so like I went with the stealth tree or whatever, the cool levels, and so I could get better at stealth. But then when I started playing, man, it was just easier to kill everybody. Like
you just go in guns a-blazing.
Yeah, when I did the first mission where I had to go and get that little robot back, all those dudes, that was like crazy, man. Like like when you scan them, they all had like really high street cred if you killed them, and so like I just killed them all, and it was like way easy.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot more enjoyable. So I was like,
I befriended them all. I didn't kill anybody.
Oh, really? I don't know how. So what did you say to him when like he held up the gun? I felt like I only had two options. One was to pay him 10 grand, or the other one was to say F off and kill him. Like that's the only options I had.
I had a third option that said we already talked about this shit. You ain't about to play me or something like that. And so so it's like after that,
I killed all
yeah.
those.
Oh yeah, you popped the top.
Yeah, but that gave me lots of powerful weapons and mods and everything like right off the bat. So it was like really cool. So,
yeah, I think it gave me access to because I don't know how you left the building. Did you leave the building through the front door, or you left through the back?
No, the front door. I think I had to fight all the way back to the entrance, man.
Oh, okay. So
I killed the whole entire joint, the whole gang.
I went through the back. I went through the back door on that one because basically the corporal people or whatever came in and started shooting the place up. You know, because I didn't put like the hack in and all of that shit. You know what I mean? I told them about the hack and all of that, and so
I didn't have no hack storyline.
They were all on my side. You know, we were in that fight together. So I was just like dipping out the back with my spider bot, and then I was shooting corporal, and then I was shooting basically just all corporal is all I was killing in there. And then I had an opportunity to release the actual leader of that gang from his prison cell, and then I went out. So I got that guy
really?
helping me with stuff later on.
The actual leader wasn't killed then. See, I didn't see that choice.
He was in a stash box that was down. You had to go through the back and then go down into the basement area or whatever. But he was in a cell, and it was kind of dope. It was like trip mines were like all over the room in there. So like if he moved, he was gonna get blown up. So he's sitting there like, "Come on, man, I'm about to shit myself. Like, get me out of here, whatever."
Yeah,
so
it's
like you just come in there and take out all the trip mines and then go or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's it's dope to have those different pathways and stuff like that. That's really like about it. But what else have you been playing?
That's all I play. I just play.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like this close today to just putting Cyberpunk in and playing it again, like just continuing where I left off. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just download Biohazard and then play that because I really enjoy 8 and I kind of want to see how those those stories go together and stuff like that. And it's a totally different story compared to.
Sounds like a different experience too for you.
Yeah, it's a totally different experience in 8.
Crazy. Well, that makes me a little more excited to play 8 then. Hearing that. I'm glad it's not
8
more 7.
Yeah, 8 is like you see everything coming. You know what I mean? So you mentally prepare. 7 is
it more like
just shit popping up on you all the time. So it's just
man.
And I mean it's creepy. Man. It's creepy a little bit when you got the volume loud and every fucking footstep is. It's like he's doing extra steps and shit. And it's like, dude, you ain't moved. You turned around, bro. You pivoted, man. Swivel. Basketball. Right. Keep a pivot foot, move around, But but once you get, past all of that and stuff like that, you're able to do it. And then what's dope is after you finish the game, you have like points for like every one of your achievements or whatever that you've gotten in the game. And so you take those points and then you buy things. It's almost like a cheat, but like you can unlock weapons that you had before or like weapons that you get towards the very end that you'll never actually get to keep on your character or whatever. And so you'll be able to start with those once you meet the vendor. You'll be able to get them from him for free 99. And then I think if you go through the story and you upgrade some of your weapons like to max, then you'll be able to unlock and pay for unlimited ammo, which is really nice. I didn't I only unlocked one thing that would give me unlimited ammo, but if you play the first time and then you want to play again the second time just to fool around, maybe do hardcore or something, you'd have that unlimited ammo. So at least that would be nice.
You're making me want to hop in, man, but I'm definitely probably just going to be hooked on Cyberpunk for a good minute right now. Even though I would
No,
like
we haven't talked about anything yet, but we're about to though for sure. He asked, Arachnid asked, did you guys talk about all the rumors of the PlayStation merging PS Plus and
Oh
PS
no, that's
Now?
on the list, man. That's on the list.
Yeah, we are definitely gonna get into that, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and start with the first topic. The first thing we have is Xbox Series S. Is that supposed to be the best console this Christmas? Like, is that gonna be exactly what everybody is getting? You know, little Billy under the Christmas tree is gonna get this Series S, man. what's the deal, right?
Dude, like, okay, I'll say a couple things about this. Like, first and foremost, like, I'm happy. Like, I'm really happy.
You're
like,
happy?
I'm pretty ecstatic about this, because the reason why I'm ecstatic about it is because I think this means a lot of Game Pass subscribers. And like, when there's lots of Game Pass subscribers, that means
We're
that
gonna get more.
Game Pass will get more, and not just that, Game Pass will stick around for the long haul. And so
it's here to stay, man. All the insurance going anywhere.
I don't know, man. Like, I heard, like, we've talked before. We've done other stories, right, where Game Pass was like they were down a certain percentage, or they weren't selling as many subscriptions as they had projected. And so, like, I was a little concerned that if they don't increase these numbers, you know, that there could be, because they're spending so much. Like, they're spending so much money to secure some of these games on Game Pass, that I was like, I don't know if they can keep this up, because we talked before that even though, like, Microsoft has endless pockets, you know that they aren't giving Phil Spencer endless money. Like, he's budgeted.
Yeah, he's not.
He
doesn't have a
budget. You know that he's budgeted, you know, and he has to make profits based within that budget line, right? So I was a little concerned that, you know, if they're losing money or losing subscriptions, then that it could hurt their success. But basically, this really bodes well for me. I think Microsoft has really done a great job here, in the sense that they actually have a console that's available for people to purchase. Like, Sony, this sucks for Sony, because people are going out there and they want to buy next gen this holiday season.
Yeah.
And Sony does not have a console for these people. And Microsoft,
it's a major problem, man.
Like,
I mean, how do you?
Microsoft does for maybe Microsoft doesn't have Series S's for Series X's, but they have a.
Yeah, they don't have. They have a console, right? I mean, even if PlayStation was able to have the digital PS5s out there, that would have been just as good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They would have probably sold more. But it's like, when people are looking for any of the next gen consoles, and all you can find is S's sitting on the shelf, it's like, well, yeah, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get this then. You know?
Yeah, and but see, the thing is, like, Arachnid says, with 20 million subs, Microsoft could send out 5 million per month to get games on Game Pass. That's nothing. Yeah. We talked about, like, what was it when it cost them like some odd tens of millions just to get Tomb Raider exclusivity. I think it costs a lot more than 5 million a month, man, to get big name games. You know, like all the Yakuzas. You're talking about, like, all these games, all these big name games, day one on Game Pass. MLB The Show, this stuff is costing a lot more than $5 million a month, right? So I don't think that's near enough money, not even close. And also to develop games on top of that, $5 million a month, that's chump change, I would say.
Yeah, I got a question about that comment right there, though. So you're saying the best console experience you can have right now is the top tier Xbox and a Game Pass subscription. So are you meaning like your options and whatnot? Because even though Xbox has plenty of options and stuff like that on the Game Pass, I still feel like if you have a PlayStation 5, you're getting the better experience on the PS5. But
wait, what did you say, Stone? You said what? You said what? When do you have a better experience on the PS5?
I'm saying like as far as like the games that the PS5 has and stuff like that. Like, I feel like I have a better experience on the PS5 than I do on the Xbox.
See, I would tend to agree with this with Arachnid. I actually agree with this comment.
Okay.
I think generally speaking, the best console experience on the planet right now is a Series X with Game Pass. I agree with that, actually.
So why though? I
agree with that, like, wholeheartedly, because I think that there are so many really good games that you can play right now on Xbox that will keep you plenty entertained for only $10 a month. Like, to me, that is about as mind-boggling. It's like this. Imagine, dude, Stone, we were kids again, right? Like, we were kids. And imagine we could play almost any game we wanted at the rental store. And our moms could buy us a pass to the rental store for $10. And that's all it cost Mom a month. And we can rent as frequently and as often, as many as we wanted, as long as we wanted, any games in the game store. We would think as kids we entered heaven, right? We just entered like the promised land, and like, you know, heaven has arrived, right?
Yeah,
and,
but you wouldn't even be able to play the greatest game of the year.
I'm just saying that is such an incredible thing. What Game Pass is, it's beyond anything we've ever really had in gaming. It's like the next step in the gaming ecosystem that I can't even tell you how incredible of a deal it is. I love it so much that I almost want to become an exclusive Xbox gamer, because there's more games on there than I can.
Bro, you crazy. Have. You tripping, man. You tripping, dude.
But what I mean by that is I'm at a time in my life, man, where I can't play a lot of games. Like, I can't play a lot of games. And so
if you can't, but wait, if you can't play a lot of games, then what good is having a plethora, an expansive library if you can't even play that many? Why not just play a couple of quality good games for that year?
Because for $10 a month, I mean, I can play like a game a month, right? I can play like a game a month. That's like 12 games a year. I'm not talking about like 3 games a year. I'm talking about like a dozen games a year. And so for $10 a month, I can play some very top-notch, high-quality games throughout the course of the year for $10 a month. Like,
well, I mean, I would put that in response with Soul's, comment about it being more bang for your buck. I agree with that 100%.
Well, what I'm saying is, I knock out my entire gaming addiction, my entire gaming hobby for $10 a month. Name any hobby on the planet where you can basically satisfy a hobby for $10 a month. Like, that is unheard of. And not just that, you're getting really good games too. Like Halo, you're getting really, really good games, man. Like, it's not,
Well, you mentioned something that hasn't come out yet, though. But yeah.
No, some of these haven't come out yet. But I'm talking about, like, I've been having a lot of fun with Game Pass. Like, just a ton of fun with Game Pass.
So, I mean, I enjoy having Game Pass to an extent, but I do find myself like, damn, like I don't have anything really to play. You know what I mean? Like, if I look at, there's a lot of stuff that if I hadn't tried it yet on Game Pass, it's probably because I'm probably not going to. So it's like I'm always looking at what's the new stuff that they're putting on Game Pass. And a lot of the new stuff is like, indie games. And that's cool. I like indie games, but sometimes you just want something a little bit more polished or a little larger or something like that. And it's just like I find myself like I'll go through all of the new stuff on Game Pass. Like that's why, today I was literally like, okay, I beat, Resident Evil 8 all last weekend. So I was trying to find something else to play. And then I'm like, okay, what am I going to play? So it's like, I didn't have anything new. I guess I could have gone, back to Watch Dogs Legions or something like that. But everything that I had was just leading me to go back to the PlayStation. Like, I went and I looked through all the stuff, but like I wasn't compelled to play like Mortal Shell again. Then there was like some other stuff,
Here's what I'm saying. A lot of the games that you're playing, that you're buying, is what I mean by Xbox only. Is because a lot of the games that you're buying, you can also buy on the Xbox. Like, you could have got Resident Evil 8 for $20 on Xbox. You could have got the Xbox version of Watch Dogs. You could have got a lot of the games that we play right now. You can play on both consoles. There isn't a ton of games on the PlayStation that you can't get on the Xbox, which is why the Xbox is doing a really good job right now, because a lot of the games that you can play are available on Xbox, and you get their exclusives like Halo, which comes out next week, things like that, and so for me, it satisfies well enough.
I still don't know, like, if I didn't have the option to play Deathloop, I'd be like super disappointed, man, because Deathloop was was a great game. And that's like my game of the year. You know what I mean? That's nominated as game of the year.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
you'll
like
get to
all
play
of
that
those
next
people.
year for free on Game Pass.
Yeah, next year though. You know what I mean? Like it's nominated this year. You know what I mean? There's gonna be something else that's a possible game of the year or whatever next year. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll be mentally comparing those or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I got a chance to play that one this year. And then there's a couple of other games that have come out solely on the PlayStation that like Ratchet and Clank, possible ones like Kenna. I didn't purchase Kenna over Black Friday or anything like that, but I did want to. That's been a game that I've wanted to play, but it's just like one of those that I have the option, but if I didn't have a PlayStation 5, I wouldn't. But I do agree that the Xbox is bar none more bang for your buck, especially if you're getting a Series S. And on top of that, like, they've finally put the cloud thing onto the game console, so you don't have to download everything. So now hard drive space is no longer an issue. So it just changes the way you look at an S now. You know what I mean? It's like 1080p is good enough. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't want to drop like mad ducats on a console, $500 on the console, $300 is solid. You know what I mean? You pay more for an iPad than you do, for that.
And you're gonna get all the like quality of life features on the Series X. Like, it's gonna be probably just as snappy as the X is.
Yeah.
You're just not gonna have quite the same resolutions and frame rates on every game, but you're gonna be just as snappy, dude. I love it when I turn my Xbox on and it's instantaneously load. Like, there's no waiting. Like, because I used to have the Xbox One X, the One X, in my living room. And when I wanted to watch like Netflix or something, I would click it on, and you have to sit and wait for that screen. The Xbox screen just sits there for like a good 58 seconds. And it's like this my Series X, I click it and I'm on in like literally 4 seconds. And I can just instantly fire up an app and I'm on. It's like the speed difference is just mind-boggling better. And that than the old consoles like PS4, the Xbox One. Now the Series S is going to be just like that. It's going to be such a fun, sweet, snappy experience. Like, it's really worth $300. It's so worth it. But I mean, like, every next gen console is worth it. The Series X is worth $500. The PS5 was worth $500. The PS4, the PS5 digital is worth $400. Like, they're all incredible consoles, regardless of the price point. They're all incredible. And I just think and what I mean, like, Xbox Game Pass, it is the most bang for your buck, like you're saying. It is just objectively, it is, right? Just objective. It's an objective fact. That's the most bang for your buck. But it's also satisfying. Like, the games on there are very, very satisfying. Like,
there's definitely some solid ones on there.
Like, I went back and I played Prey for the first time, and that was one of the funnest experiences I had all year. For me, right on par with Deathloop. I mean, it's made by the same people that made Deathloop. The same exact studio made it. Yeah, Arcane made it, and it feels just as good as Deathloop. Well, it should. I mean, the same people just made it, and I had never been on that radar. Right? Like, so going back and like playing lots of these games, I downloaded Yakuza 0. Like, that just came out, like, I think last year. And it's like, it had like an 85. It was very high.
I've never been really too interested in the Yakuza games.
But, I never played any of them. Like, I don't know if they're any good. Like, I never played Prey. I remember when Prey came out, I thought it was a scary game, and I told you how I avoid scary games. But I was actually like glad I played it because it was much more like Dead Space than it was like Biohazard.
Yeah.
Much
it
more,
was definitely like
right. It was not a jump scare, and like I loved every minute of it. The world was so interesting, the exploration, the space was just so well done, and I'm just like, I would have never played that without Game Pass. Like, I would have never played that game without Game Pass. And
and like
so satisfying.
Yeah, and like Soul is saying, like he's going into his backlog and stuff like that. So. Not getting them at launch and stuff like that. Like, I understand, dude. I mean, even with like all of this stuff, me having both consoles or whatever, like I have to pick and choose what I'm going to spend my money on, right? So I have to decide like, oh, okay, I'm going to buy this one game and not buy both of these games. And which one do I want to, lose, which one do I not want to play right now? And I'll probably have to wait like a long ass time before I play it. So, but I mean, PlayStation 5 has hella shit on their backlog, dude. I mean, if you just, I mean, even just PlayStation in general, but I mean, if you get a PlayStation 5, you get like 12 games, you know, that you have access to off rip. And a lot of them are like solid fucking games. So if you haven't played any of them, like I had never played Monster Hunter, so boom, that was another one. You know, I think that, I don't know if Resident Evil Biohazard wasn't on that one, was it?
I think it was. Yeah. I think
Okay, yeah, it might have been on there. So, but I mean, they had like a lot of the solid ones. You know, they had God of War and all of that stuff. So if you never had a PlayStation in your life, and then you just like, oh, okay, I'm finally gonna buy a PlayStation first time, you got a lot of shit you can go into and play.
Yeah, I
it's
think
just a lot of stuff.
no, yeah, I agree. I think you can have a good time on the PS5 if that's all you had. So what I'm saying is, what I mean by is I'm in a place in my life where I can't play. What I mean is like I don't really have the time to like be playing everything that comes out on like both consoles. Like that's what's really hard. It's hard.
I don't have the
like,
time either.
I know, like that's what
work.
I'm saying. Like
if this could be my job, then I'd have plenty of time. But
yeah. Then we'd have time to play everything. But it's like I do feel like like you were saying, I'm picking and choosing. And so what I'm saying is like I feel like I would be just fine if I became an Xbox exclusive player. I feel like I would be just fine with the amount of games that I get and play from Xbox Game Pass for just $10 a month. Like that's awesome
I mean,
to me about Game Pass. Not only is it the best bang for my buck, but it satisfies the hobby in its totality. It satisfies it very well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like the list of games that have come out for the PlayStation 5, I think they only got maybe like a total of like 5 or so. Maybe I'd say maybe no more than 10 exclusives out this, over this their launch up until now. So you wouldn't really be missing out on much. There wasn't a whole lot of like, awesome shit, but there was some solid stuff. You know what I mean? You got Demon Souls, you got what's the fucking, you got Godfall, you got Deathloop, a couple other ones, but so you're not really missing out on much because of all of the other big third-party titles that are available on everything. So, I mean, yeah, you'd be doing solid. I mean, yeah, thankfully you'll be able to play Deathloop next year on the Xbox. But it's just like, I loved that experience, man. I might end up playing it again a second time around on the Xbox just to see if they've fixed the being the woman and playing her. You know what I mean? That might be all I focus on, is just playing her and getting her character up. Yeah, because like I feel like everybody was always Felicia. They were never Colt. So like I couldn't hop in on many people's games. So I feel like on Xbox I would probably just do hers. All I did was Colt's, and I finished the story and got him good. But I think I would do Felicia's, or whatever her name is. I would do her side of the story on the Xbox, just because it probably, because it's free on Game Pass, there's probably a shitload more people playing it. And then, they might have already fixed that network issue and stuff like that going.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man. So, I mean, it's definitely, it seems like obvious that the Series S would be one of the bigger consoles. Because, everybody was super stoked to get the OLED. Nintendo Switch and things like that, so them bitches gonna be bought out. It's hard as fuck to find a PS5 or a Series X in general, and then they come out with limited edition consoles, which make it even harder to acquire. So it just seems like
I just like
Xbox found that perfect pocket.
I just think this is huge, because the holiday season is when everyone buys everything for their kids.
Yeah,
and so it's like basically it's like people are going, okay, when they buy the Series S, they're kind of committing. They're kind of committing to a generation and a brand in that generation. Most people, I think, Marcus, are not like you and I, who buy every console out. They kind of they get one, and that's all their parents buy.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna get. Yeah,
they're just gonna be on an Xbox. And seeing like Series S, people are like, okay, this is the only thing that's available to buy that's new, that's next gen. So
that Steam Deck is expensive as fuck. Yeah,
we're gonna buy in, and you buy in, and it becomes the number one console that way in America. At least. Like, it's not gonna be the number one console overseas for sure, but in America, it's gonna be the number one console. And so it's like like that's really good for Game Pass, man. And I think like it means like it's gonna be like, you know what I'm thinking? It's like buy stock in Game Pass, dude. It's gonna
And
be the next
Microsoft,
Netflix, dude. And like that's crazy, right? Yeah, or even
yeah,
Microsoft, right? Like that's nuts because um, there was a
yeah,
story I
it's
heard of
definitely,
this guy. He said maybe you saw it was on his YouTube video, and he had saved up till he was like 25 to buy a home. And he had like 50 grand, and he really wanted to buy a home really badly. And his dad was like, "No, don't buy a home, don't buy a home." And he went and bought it. And he's like, "No." His dad kept telling him that he shouldn't buy a home, that he should put every dime he had into Netflix. And this was back in like
oh shit,
20 years ago. And he said, had he listened to his dad and put that 50 grand into Netflix, he would have like $5 million or something like that now. Like huge. He would have been a millionaire. And
but he's got a house though.
He's got a house, but I'm just saying, like, that's crazy, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, trying to find the next Netflix is like, you know, that's awesome. And I just know, I feel like Game Pass, that's the future. And I think we're going to talk about it. And I think Sony is realizing that it is the future. It hands down is the future. Without a doubt, it's the future.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. But I did want to say Arachnid Soul's comment. He said a Steam Deck and a Game Pass for PC is all you would need for a kid. They can have that for years. I think that would be solid, but that Steam Deck's pretty fucking pricey.
It is expensive.
Both
of those, that would be hard. You just need a game. Actually, all you need is a Steam Deck. Because if you have a Steam Deck, then you basically have access to Game Pass, so you don't really need an Xbox.
Well, no, he's saying Game Pass for PC and a Steam Deck is all you need. So the Steam Deck would be your console.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Game Pass would be your
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's all you would need. That'd be all you need because you can hook that Game Pass, that Steam Deck into your television. It could be
you're good to go.
It's not just handheld. So it's like that would be that's why we were blowing our lid with the Steam Deck. We were blowing
right.
Top.
It's just wicked, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but click the next topic. So the next one we wanted to talk about was that Starfield video. So basically Bethesda got a little video together to kind of give us a little bit more insight on what it takes to build a great game or whatever. And I thought that this was going to be something totally different, man. When you say Into the Starfield or something like that, like you would think that it would give you like a lot more information about the game itself. But I felt like all they did was talk about their journey to get to that point in time. How'd you feel, Ray?
Yeah, so what this did for me is like, I don't know. I feel like I have honestly forgotten how great like the Bethesda Fallouts and Skyrim games are. Like, and as I was watching this was kind of like, this was reminding me of just like how awesome they are and like the truth that they were pointing out about how many people have played and replayed and discovered new things and had new experiences over and over again in Skyrim. Mm-hmm. And I was like, gosh, that is so true. Like, I'm so excited to see what this game is going to be and the longevity that it has. If they really are trying to put the same amount of heart and soul and effort into this that they did to Skyrim, and I feel like they are. Like when you hear them talk and what they present, it feels like this is going to be just absolutely incredible world to live and breathe in. And it's like my buddy Jeremy, for instance, he might be listening. Shout out to Jeremy. He plays like Fallout 4 to this very day over and over again. He replays Skyrim a lot. Like these games are like generational. Like they last for like 10 years, and it's not just replaying the same thing over again. You replay these games and you see something new. Jeremy was just telling me the other night when I went over there to visit for dinner or whatever that he was playing Fallout, and he says that he still to this very day, as many times, I told you, he still plays that game since that game came out. Yeah. And he told me to this very day he still discovers things he had not seen before. Like every single new playthrough, he still finds something new that he has never seen before. And like looking at these games, it's like it just got me like I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, why am I not more hyped for this than I am? Like I feel like I've forgotten, like what makes, these Bethesda games, what they are. I feel like I've forgotten that magic. And so, like, I don't know, watching this helped kind of bring that magic back to life for me. So,
I feel like that's all it was. I feel like it was less of like a Starfield video, and here's like information on Starfield, but more of a like, hey, remember me? Like, you seen what I could do. You know what I mean? Like, I still got the juice. So it's like a way to kind of keep you pumped and anticipating the Starfield game, because they barely sprinkle any kind of information here and there about it. I honestly wouldn't mind, not hearing anything about it whatsoever until it's like out, you know what I mean? But it's whatever. But that's what I feel like this video was. I felt like them titling that was just to get everybody to look at the shit. But as far as like Starfield things, you could probably clip like 30 seconds of Starfield related content in this video together and make it, one.
Right.
When we would have seen everything. Shout out to Blue. But yeah, so I feel like this wasn't like necessary, but it was cool to do like a little recap on everything they've done and then hear some of their stuff. But I would have much rather, like an in-depth of just even like 5 minutes or something, an in-depth of the story, and they talking about when they're creating the story and different things. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't stick too much into Starfield. You're right. This was just more about, hey, remember us? We know how to rank good games, and we're reminding you of that. Yeah. Another great one's coming. And I felt like they kind of did that, and they did remind me. Like, it did work for me in that respect. It got me a little bit more excited, although we're still a long ways away. They have a lot of months still to keep that hype alive. They got a lot of months.
This is what, next year in what, November or something? June?
Next holiday, I'm assuming. Next holiday season. So this is like, I'm thinking November is what I'm thinking. Yeah. So there's a lot of good games coming out between now and then that they still have to keep us hyped for after we played those, right?
Bro, everybody about to forget about any of this shit soon as Elden Ring comes out, man. All that shit getting shit on.
Yeah, and then they're going to forget about it again when they go play Horizon. And then they're going to forget about it again when they play God of War.
Then they're going to forget about it again when they finally get a chance to play Deathloop. And that's another thing, so you got to decide to put down Elden Ring just so that you can play Deathloop, bro.
And then they're going to forget about it again when they go to play Hogwarts. Right? Like, they're just like, they have a lot to overcome, man. They have a lot to overcome next year to keep the hype alive, So
I'm pumped for Hogwarts too, man.
Yeah, man.
They better not fucking fail me, dude. Yeah. They better fucking succeed well.
And I don't think Fable's coming out next year, but that would be another one they have to overcome if that was coming out next year too. So it's like,
if they do Fable, man, it might be my favorite console of the year.
Like Fable and this, imagine that, right? Like Fable, this, you get Deathloop for free. Like Xbox could be like a really great console next year. Like it's not so uneven anymore. Like you're gonna
if those could all drop in the same year, that would make that year like so much worth it. Yeah, like that's countless hours of gameplay right there with the with just the two. You know what I mean? Just with Elden Ring and the other one, or just with Fable and Starfield. You know what I mean? It's nuts. But yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This one's about Godfall. Just last week we were talking about the PS Plus games of the month and how they were going to be giving us Godfall and what was the other two?
Mortal Shell.
Do you remember? Mortal Shell and something.
And a Lego game, I think. A Lego.
Yeah. Lego's something. Yeah, DC. Yeah. And so,
just so you know, Japan is also getting Judgment for free next year.
Oh, are they?
That new Yakuza game. It's the brand that just came out.
That one just came out like a couple months ago, like a month or so.
If you're in Japan, you get that for free on PS Plus. How unfair
why couldn't they give us this one? Hey, salute, Diggs. Why couldn't they have given us Judgment too? I wouldn't mind having an extra game under my belt. You know what I mean?
Dude, and it's a new game too. I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Anyways.
But Godfall, they said that they were putting it out on there. I saw a video that was kind of like them announcing it on its like own or whatever. And they were basically talking about how they were just going to like advance. They were going to give you like some Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood edition of Godfall, right? They're just gonna like give you all the fast paced stuff, pop you all the way to the very end, give you like all of the armors. You don't have to work and grind for any of them. Give you all of the swords and different things like that you need, and you're just gonna play in game. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You know, the way they're saying it is like you'll be able to play with the people who have been playing it and have been doing end game. And you'll be suited and booted, ready to go out there with them and play in-game stuff. And I was thinking like, okay, and you know, it's not too bad, but I'm hearing, you know, that there's complaints about this because there's no campaign. Now, if this is true, that there's no campaign, that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, see, I thought when this was announced,
no pun intended,
that I thought it was gonna be like, when they have like all the different editions, like I don't know, they get like Assassin's Creed Black Flag Eternal Edition or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You just assume like it's gonna be every DLC and everything all rolled into one. And so when I see this, I think, oh, Godfall Challenger Edition. That's just gonna be like dope. We just get everything they've made. How cool is that? But
and whatever little add-ons that they're doing, with this, right? Because they're adding some extra stuff on the back end of it with this edition.
Right, and so that's what I was expecting. So I thought we were just getting like the whole game, and you get all the added stuff and all the DLC, and like, this is dope. How fun is this? It actually isn't that. It's actually kind of like a separate version of the game. So it's not like Godfall the game with everything included. It's actually a completely separate version. So you can actually not play the campaign at all in this. You can't even play it.
Right.
It's not just that they're like, like for instance in what is it? World of Warcraft. Let's say you don't play for a few years and then you come back and you do like a level boost.
Yeah.
Like that boost you kind of like what you're saying to the end so you can play with your friends where they're at.
Right.
But you can go back.
But you still have the option to do the story.
Yeah, you can go back and play the world if you want. You can still do it. You can't do this with this edition. And so that's what people are pretty pissed about. And
but so you know what that tells me, though? And that tells me that the fucking campaign was shit to begin with. And they've realized that, hey, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, bro, you do not got to play the campaign. We're just going to boot you all the way to the end. Just play the in-game stuff. Trust me. That's what they're telling you.
I don't know, man. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was more, not that they think it's not that. I don't know.
They're trying to get sales?
Maybe they think it's shit, but I thought they were trying to get sales.
Yeah, shit, dude.
They're trying to get you into the store with this, and like you like it, and you're like, oh, I like this, so I'm gonna go buy the campaign because I want to play that now. That's what I thought this ploy was like. It was a way of trying to make some quick money.
I guess, but I mean, at bottom line, right? Like if you have a disc version of a PS5, you can literally go to GameStop and get that bitch for like $7 or so. Like it's like $10, man.
I don't know.
Are they really gaining that much money? Like they're not getting that much from it. If they if that was their play.
Because a lot of people, they just buy it on the store, man. I think a lot of people just stick at home and they just buy it on the marketplace. I don't know if a lot of people are like you and I.
So you think they're getting online? They're just going online and just getting it straight from the store, paying that full price.
I think a lot of people do that, and they just do it that way because it's convenient.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know if it's going to work because I don't know if people are going to play this and fall in love with it to the point where they want to go back and play the campaign. Even though I think that was the idea, I think that was the mission and the plan from Gearbox to try and make some additional money off this Godfall game. But I'll tell you what, man, I think it is pretty cool. I do envision myself like hopping on with you and like, Mark or I and like playing some of this end game content together because you do get access to all the end game content. So like the tower mode, all that stuff that you would do after you beat the game. You do get access to that. But the truth of the matter is, man, like for instance with Borderlands, I usually just kind of play the campaign. Like I might play a little bit.
Play the campaign, yeah,
I might play a little bit of the end game content, but like I don't really like play the end game content. Like for all games. There's very few games where like I play the end game content for, and so this would be like I feel like this Godfall game is the game where I would have wished, for I think if I was a normal gamer out there who hadn't already played this or whatever, that I would have been excited to like play it and just play the campaign and then walk away from it. I don't know if I was really expecting to play this end game content.
Yeah, that's like trying to give me Anthem and tell me like, hey, play the Anthem end game shit.
Yes, that's right, exactly. You don't know if you would, right? Like I don't know if that's enticing to me, and so I can see why there's some. I can see why there's some like slight outrage from the community. It does feel like you were sold a bill of not quite exactly what you thought you were getting.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought, like you thought that I'm getting the whole thing plus a little bit of extra, for all of that extra stuff. But yeah, for them to like completely eliminate the campaign is interesting. I just looked up on the PSN network how much Godfall costs, and so they have like the Ascended edition, which is like $70, right? That's just
the Ascended edition. That's what I thought this was,
and then
like the overarching everything edition.
Yeah, and then they have the digital deluxe, which is on sale right now. It's normally $59.99, but if you have PS Plus, it's 55% off, and so it's like $25.99 or something like that. So
okay, that's pretty cheap.
I mean, that's interesting. It's interesting though. I mean, it's still quite a bit. I mean, I guess if you're able to convince people that the campaign is worth $26, you know what I mean, you get some more sales. But I just don't see it working out like that. Like I see it like only being doable for like the people who have friends who already had the game and have been playing it for a while, you know what I mean, and just like stopped. Like I see it being like, okay, bro, I'll hop on with you. You know what I'm saying? I can just, boost, or maybe like I'll check it out. But like everything that they experience, the in-game only stuff is all they're going to ever experience. I don't see somebody being like, I'm going to go buy it now. Like this makes me want to buy it now. I
agree, man. Like I don't think it will either. And also I honestly, I agree. I'm the same as you. I do feel like I was kind of like fooled a bit. I would never have thought that that's what this was.
Yeah, I would have never thought it was half of the fucking game.
Me neither, dude. I would have never thought that, man.
Especially when you put all that work into your campaign, right? Supposedly. You know what I mean?
And
like,
no one's playing it. Yeah.
And you don't want anybody to experience that? That's really interesting. Like if you're gonna give if PlayStation, I don't even know what PlayStation's doing. Like if they spent whatever money they spent for that game to be put onto the market, like this should be like, nah, bro, I need the whole game. What is this challenger shit? Like I need the whole thing.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I do think that they're more proud of their end game content than their campaign.
Yeah.
Like clearly they're more proud of that. They want people to play what they're most proud of, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're like proud of your campaign, like you said, you work all this time on
it. You want people to play that shit.
But they clearly want people to play their endgame content. So they're very proud of their endgame content.
Which is why I think I'm not really missing out on anything. So I'm like okay with it not having a campaign. Because honestly, I wasn't gonna really play it anyways unless I had to. You know what I mean? If they gave me the game and it's like, okay, I want to check out the game, you got to play through the campaign or whatever.
Right.
But if they're telling you played the end game stuff, like, okay, so I get to max level, I have all of the shit. Like, there's no need for me to even step foot in the campaign. I might as well just go forward, with it. I have everything I need. I would just blow past everybody, At that point, going through the campaign would just be like, put it on easy so I can just coast through everything,
Yeah, I'm cool with this too. Like, I'm fine with this. This is cool in my eyes, but it's just, I do feel a little bit, fooled. Like, even though, like, I'm fine with it, I still feel just a little bit fooled. And, like, that's what's strange about this story,
Right.
Because I never would have thought that, these companies, I don't think we've ever seen that, where a company puts a game on Game Pass and they only give you half
give you some of it. Give you a little taste, a sample.
Yeah, I've never seen a demo, right? A demo.
A demo for sure, man. That's definitely a demo.
Demo is a PS Plus game, Like that's a trip.
So, yeah. All right, so let's go to the next one. This one's about Call of Duty Vanguard and how it's just sucking ass right now. I don't know, man. It said it's down 40%. I think it's 40% only in the UK though. But I guess Call of Duty Vanguard or Call of Duty in general has been like a really heavy series, especially in the UK. And for it to go down this much is interesting. I'm wondering what is the problem with Vanguard that's different, so different from all the other stuff. I thought that Vanguard was supposed to have that campaign or whatever that looked like it was pretty dope, right? With the woman or something like that.
Yeah, like so. One reason why it's UK is because they don't release US numbers like frequently. It's very rare. But in the UK, they release them like weekly. Like they release them very frequently. It's just different there when it comes to like these numbers. And so really using the UK numbers are really the only really objective way that we can track how well their game is doing. And so that's why, we look at this. But this is like bad news because it's just 40% in 1 year. This isn't like 40% like after some time. Like in one single year, it almost dropped half in sales.
Well, they're talking about launch sales. Like, says this is like compared to all of their other Call of Duties, Vanguard just did not add up. Like it didn't even hit par.
I think part of it is, man, is I just think like, well, yeah, for one, as Arachnid's saying, I'm shocked anyone is still playing COD. The players seem to complain about this game each year. I agree. I think everyone complains about it. Whenever I watch, because there's still like a couple COD guys that I watch just because I really like the personality more than like the COD content, that I actually still occasionally click on these COD content creators. And all they do is complain. And they're still putting out COD content, but they just only ever complain about everything in Call of Duty. And I'm just like, I don't know why these guys are still playing this game. Probably because
I feel like it's kind of like jokes. I feel like it's jokes because I come across a lot of people on TikTok and like there's like this one dude that I follow on TikTok and his name is Cali Sticks. So I guess there's like these weapons that are like these batons or whatever, and they freaking slaughter, man. Like you just beat somebody senseless with these little drumsticks. But I guess it puts in work.
I just think
I see it as comedy more than anything.
When we saw the reveal on E3 for that campaign and that chick, and we were like pretty impressed with how it looked, and it looked interesting. I don't think that they did what I wanted them to do, right? Like, I think that it's the same thing. You're just playing like a little mission to mission. Remember we talked about that? How there's nothing carries over. There's no like, talent tree. There is no like RPG, to the game. And I was really wishing, it. Yeah, I really wish that they would have gone like the Last of Us route and made like a more RPG experience where you feel like you're growing, you're collecting, you're becoming cooler and better. They didn't do that. They just kept it, cinematic, just a cinematic experience. And that isn't enough anymore, man. Like that's old. A good one. That's antiquated. And like they're just playing it safe every single year. And eventually these people are going to have to change their strategy because people are fed up. They're done. They need something different, something new, and they're not delivering that.
And Soul made a good point too, saying that Halo is free. If COD is bad to long-term players, they might be trying Halo Infinite. And so I think that is definitely a bit of a game changer, right? Because if there's a lot of Xbox players out there and they have Game Pass, they just got given Halo Infinite multiplayer. Which was given a bit earlier than expected, right? Wasn't it like a surprise, like, here you go, a little bit earlier? So it kind of like...
I think it was, but just to piggyback off that, the game mode that COD and Activision are killing on is Warzone, and that's also free. So when it comes to like, everyone wants to play free games now, that's true. Yeah. And then you can get a multiplayer, and Halo is more multiplayer. See, Warzone isn't multiplayer. Warzone is Battle Royale. So the COD multiplayer mode is not nearly, it's dead, it's dying. And Halo is definitely taking over that genre right now. But COD is still kicking butt on Warzone. And people just, for one, Activision is not making a very compelling campaign experience. Yeah. And the multiplayer is dying. So there isn't really much of a reason to get Vanguard, right? You might as well just buy like a bundle package for the guns or whatever in Warzone and just play your Warzone if that's what you're
doing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, why would I buy Vanguard if I'm doing the same stuff?
Right. It's just not compelling anymore. right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you would have to buy Vanguard just for the campaign at that point, right? If they're doing the war zone and stuff like that, you're adding all the guns in and different things like that. Yeah. So
right.
I don't know. I feel like at that point then, creating something such as Warzone and then still creating the other games, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot as far as like multiplayer goes if you're even adding them onto these other games. It seems like you would just make the Vanguard and it's just a campaign, you know what I mean? And you
Right.
put everything else, all of the other energy from multiplayer into Vanguard. I mean into Warzone. And that because that's what people are going to be playing anyways. But I mean, maybe they have like some other, reason as to why they do.
I think Vanguard is just like, I think these COD games are just kind of like icing on the cake. I think the real money is in the free games, the Warzone. Yeah, that's where they're making all their money. So this stuff is like, they're not very compelled. I don't think Activision is very compelled to spend money in making a great single player game.
Yeah,
they're just not. Even though I think they could, they're not compelled to. They have no reason to. Their fault. If any company follows the money, it's Activision, right? I mean, all that company cares about is the money. So.
Yeah, they've always fallen victim to that. But all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. This is one that was kind of like a surprise. Ray popped this over to me, like maybe like an hour before we were about to begin this, and then I saw it on Twitter, real quick as well. But yeah, man, heavy rumors that Sony is going to finally combine PS Plus and PS Now together as that Game Pass competition. And this is funny because we talked about this like several podcasts ago that's what they should do, and that's more than likely what will happen. It's just a matter of when it'll happen, because like I don't know anybody who's actually I do. Mark, I think Mark's ass got PS Now or something like that on like a $1 trial or something. But I don't know too many people that are just like, oh, I play PS Now, And we've seen that they're slowly starting to try to add some of the newer games, new-ish, like maybe, 5, 6, maybe 8 months behind or something like that. But it's fairly new to PS Now. And so that was like an improvement. But this is way different than what I was expecting would come off top. I mean, so they're talking about having 3 tiers. So you got the basic bitch tier, which is what we have right now. And then you got the second tier, which adds some extra, like it adds the PS Now, and then it gives you access to PS4 games, which is surprising because we get quite a few or whatever right now on the PS Plus every month, but they're adding more, and then eventually it'll get to PS5 games, which is crazy. I don't know if it'll be like how we had discussed it before, Ray, being like maybe 3 or 4 months behind release, but we'll eventually get it for free on that. And then the last one, which I thought was really interesting, was the fact that you're getting the last tier. You get PS1, 2, 3, PSP, like probably Vita, like all of those games. So this would essentially be a fully backwards compatible game system at that point. Like you wouldn't have to pay for any of those old ass games if you wanted to play them shits.
Yeah. I guess the question I'd ask you here. So first of all, I'll say this isn't quite compelling enough to me. I think it's the right move, but I don't think it's quite compelling enough in comparison to
Game Pass.
I'm comparing everything to Game Pass because that's kind of like the direct competitor here.
Yeah,
and
that's what
it's not quite compelling enough to me because of that one caveat right there that you mentioned, and PS5 games down the line, right? Like how far down the line are we talking here? Like I'm not hip if it's going to be like PC down the line. Like when they finally launched the games on PC.
Yeah.
Games
like a whole like
it's like 2 years later.
2 or 3 years later.
2 or 3 years later, it's finally launched on PC. Like if that's what they're talking about, like eventually you'll get to play, Returnal, like 2 years from when it's released.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that ain't compelling enough, man. When I'm gonna play literally Halo, the brand new Halo next week on launch. Yeah. Like day one. I'm gonna play Starfield day one. We're gonna play Fable day one. Like that's not compelling enough, man. But if I guess the thing I would
we don't know though, but yeah,
we don't know, but they kind of let you know a little bit here when it says down the line, right? And so like we know we're not getting PS5 games on day one here. But I guess I'll ask you, we don't know pricing yet, but which tier is most compelling to you?
I think I would probably stick to that middle tier. I think what was the last tier? What does that one give you? The second tier, the third tier thrown in is extended demos and game streaming. So I'm guessing that the game streaming is the same as like, or it's counteractive for the cloud gaming that Xbox has for the Xbox Cloud, right? So
right.
now you're telling me that I should be able to click on the game and immediately play it. But I'm just playing it through the cloud. So that's really gonna work for games that have like, just straight stories or like indie games. It won't work for any multiplayer games. I just wouldn't try it.
Well, and also on the tier 3, you get full backwards compatibility, right?
Yeah, full backwards compatibility. So I mean, it's like, okay, if you're telling me that now I can take my my Vita and then possibly be able to play some of the old Vita games. I know this says PSP, but you'd have to put Vita on there, right?
Yeah,
you'd have to.
includes Vita.
So, like, if you're telling me that now I have like the entire library, if I have the entire library, like all PS1 games, all PS2, all PS3, you know what I mean? All that are out there, yeah. PS4. You know what I'm saying? PSP and Vita, like that might be something that I would look into because it's been a while since I've plugged in my Vita, dude. Like this bitch is bone dry, man. It hasn't been charged in like a cool ass minute. So
I think like
to be able to use it would be nice,
This feels more like the Nintendo route, right? How Nintendo is kind of giving you their old console generations with their subscription service. Yeah. Like if you subscribe to them, you get like the SNES games and the NES games and the all those old games. That's what that kind of feels like. Like, and what I'll say to Arachnid is he said that PS5 games will be down the line because they want people to buy games first.
Exactly.
As many people as possible. People can't get a PS5 though. Yeah, I know that's the strategy. Like, obviously. Like, we know that's the strategy right now with PC games. That's why I said I don't want it to be like PC because PC games don't come out for 2 years because they want to make sure they dry the PS market dry where they will lose no customers before they put it on PC. Like, I don't like that model. Right? Like, now, I think Sony is clinging to that model. They are clinging to wanting to make that $60 when I don't think that's the way of the future. They have to go all in on subscription. Game Pass makes money on subscription services, not the $60 price tag.
Right. And I do wonder though, because it says down the line, I just wonder like exactly what they mean, when it's like later. What's good, Anthony G? Hey, Mark couldn't make it, man. He got baby duties, bruh. So, it's just us here thugging it out. But so it's like what if it's just like, okay, it takes a minute to implement all of these games onto this service or whatever, that with cloud streaming capabilities and all that other stuff. So what if they're slowly adding all of their PS4 titles and stuff like that going down the line, right? They start with the oldest and then work their way up, kind of how like how Nintendo is doing, where they're like, oh yeah, you've got Sega and you've got Super Nintendo, but it's like a small bit, and then we're gonna add more later on or whatever for whatever reason. Maybe they have to do some recoding or something like that. But what if it gets to the point where once they've stockpiled and filled up all of the PS4 slots, then they work on the PS5 slots, and then you start getting to that point where you are able to get it day one. I mean, what if that's a possibility? That would still be nice, It seems far-fetched because of the fuck shit that PlayStation's been doing lately with all of their tactics to get more money and different things like that, where we find them being a little bit more greedier than we would like. But I mean, just the fact that it's there, they didn't straight out say, hey, we're gonna release PS5 games 2 months after, or a month after, or whatever. So,
right.
you know what I mean? It's
I just
it's one of those things that I don't know if I'm just counting it out fully yet. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, at least try. You know,
it just feels like they still aren't committing to it. Like, yes, this is like a baby
smooth.
step. This is like a baby step in the right direction. What's going on, yo? Smooth. What's going on, champion Anthony G? What's up, fellas? This feels like it's just a baby step in the right direction, and it's not like the direction. It's not the step I want them to take. But let me ask you, like, I guess I'll ask you this: if they launch their own, let's say they just did it and they went all in on the future of gaming, streaming as a subscription service, would you own both services? Would you spend $15 for both services?
For 15 for Game Pass and 15 for PS Pass?
Right. Would you kind of just transition to PlayStation now and kind of just like have a subscription service to PlayStation, or would you own both?
No, I would own both. Just because of, like, if I knew the game plan rolling out that like a month or two later the PlayStation games, the PS5 games would be available, then there's enough games to go around. I've got a backlog. Like, I can wait to eventually get that first one, and then by the time I'm finished with the first PS5 game, the second one would be out, and then I'd be able to play that one. You know what I mean? So I feel like once you catch the first one, with the delayed service, I think it would all be downhill after that. Like, it'd just be smooth pickings. So
the reason why the reason why I ask is I'm just curious, I guess, because I'm just curious if Sony is missing out on potential customers, because I don't know how many people are willing to do multiple subscriptions to a Game Pass kind of service. So, like, the longer Sony waits to jump into that ring, like, are they missing out on potential customers? Because I do think, like, I'd be like you, but I don't want to think that I would buy all this. I buy Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation. I don't want to think like that is the way the natural consumer thinks in the world, or if me and you are more the exception rather than the rule. If we're the rule, then I guess it doesn't matter when Sony decides to jump into the ring. But if we're the exception, then I think it would matter more when you decide to actually go full in on a subscription service that actually matters.
Yeah, I just think that it's kind of like one of those things. Like, I mean, we have thousands. We have, hundreds of thousands of these different TV subscription things. You know what I mean? You got Netflix, you got Hulu, you got HBO Max, you got Stars, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's so many of them. And we end up paying for, like, a large majority of them. Then now there's the good few that will just only, like, stick to, like, Netflix and maybe Disney Plus, right? Because that gives you, like, a good library of movies to watch and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that have, like, damn near all of them, where you're stacking up so many subscriptions separately that they're costing almost as much as your basic cable would, And
See, I know a lot of people that I just think there's a lot of people out there who don't, though, at the same time. I think there are a lot, like you're saying, that do. Like, so for instance, my wife's mother, she only has like one. She like just does Amazon Prime, right? And maybe and she goes on and off on Netflix. She turns it on and she turns it off.
Oh, really?
And then I have like there's something else I was going to mention. Oh, I think my dad turns it on and off too. My dad doesn't stick with it. He kind of
I've never shut it. I don't even see, like, why do you shut it on and off? Like, you wait until there's a good show and then you shut it back on and then you watch that show.
No, it's kind of like my dad will be like, I haven't watched it in a while. So he just shuts it off because he doesn't think he's going to use it. And then he might later come back to it, like months later. He'll come back to see what's new. It's not like he's tracking the shows. It's more so just like he hasn't seen himself click it on. Like, he's watching a lot of Funimation or he's watching a lot of Netflix, but he's not watching a lot of Hulu, so he shuts it off. Right? He doesn't just stick with it indefinitely. Yeah. So I just think, like, where I kind of just stick with my subscriptions indefinitely. Yeah, like, I've had Crunchyroll. I've had these things for years.
Yeah, Crunchyroll, Funimation.
I think, like, turn them off and shut them off, And I just think that
I think it's gonna be a real kicker to see if it's like if they do like some family type shit like Nintendo does, or if it's all based solely upon your PSN name, because like the reason why, like for me, right, because I care Anthony G about how much I'm spending on video games. That's why I'm always looking for the better budget wise or whatever, but like I share a family account with my Netflix, man. Like I share Netflix with like 6 or 7 people. You know what I mean?
That's a good
point,
dude.
It's like,
I think a lot of people they have multiple subscriptions because they're sharing. Like it's not really like that on Game Pass.
Nah, it's a lot tougher on Game Pass. You know what I mean? I'd have to sign into your Game Pass to play the games, and I don't necessarily mind that, except I believe that I have to be under your gamer tag. So then it's not under my gamer tag.
You aren't adding anything to your gamer tag.
Right.
So you aren't saving anything to your game. So like that's the thing. Like that's one difference. I think a big major difference as to why people have multiple subscriptions. Mm-hmm. Where in this world, like I can't see Sony doing $10 for like all their games. No. Sony sounds like a $20 minimum to me. And like imagine like you have to pay $20 and you're paying your $15 for Game Pass. Now it's like, darn it, I wish I could share one of these with somebody. Right, where you can't really do that. And so I think Sony, I don't want them to miss the boat, is all I'm saying. I don't want them to miss the boat and people, Game Pass just dominates this and Sony misses the boat because they're so worried about passing up on that old way of doing things, the $60 game system, when the subscription service seems to be the way of the future, in my opinion.
Yeah, I figure like they would I feel like they would have like a difficulty, just going all in on some Game Pass type shit. You know what I mean, with day ones and stuff like that. So I mean, but if they gave like a solid ass price, like maybe $20-$25 a month, I don't see it going 25. I can see them doing 20 though. But I think with $20 a month, I think they probably would be more willing to drop games day one or whatnot. And yeah, bro, Anthony, I'm not sharing my Netflix with you, my guy.
Yeah, man, I think
maybe Crunchyroll or something.
Yeah, I think they'd be surprised how much money they make. Like I just think they're underestimating just how much money they can make. Like if they would announce that you can get God of
all
War,
the PS4 games,
Horizon, all these things like day one or within a couple months.
Yeah,
I think they'd be shocked how many people would buy that subscription service. And I think they'd just be really surprised I think there's so much more money in subscription services. I just think there's tons more money because it's continual revenue. You're not hoping to make a sell. You're not hoping to sell a game like, oh, we got to make sure we get this many sells. Like you just have continual revenue. Like I just think they're underestimating that market.
Yeah.
Like that's what everyone's doing is subscription services, and Sony still isn't. It's crazy.
So I think that Sony is trying to approach this in a different way, right? I feel like, like kind of like what Arachnid Soul was saying earlier. I'm trying to see if I can find it, what he had mentioned. But he was basically saying that before, like as far as like the console war, here it goes. As far as like the console war was going, right? We deemed that PlayStation won that, like hands down. Like Xbox is no longer trying to sell consoles; they're trying to sell subscription services. And so you think that that's it. It's what's said and done. But when you have people gravitating towards those services, and now it's kind of like your consoles, you ain't putting your consoles out there like that. So these services are out there putting in work, making Microsoft tons of bread. So now it's like, oh shit, I guess I gotta change my plan, you know what I mean, and flip flip to a different move. So now it's like you're playing catch up with Xbox. And I think because of that fact, they haven't just come out with it off top, right? They've been trying to figure out other ways of how they can get this in there and and make it better, or at least different. I think that if they get to the point where they're releasing day one exclusives on there, they will surpass Xbox
I agree.
in one solid way.
I agree.
And that's the live with gold bullshit that they have.
No,
that
but
they
dude,
give
they
you
would
like 360 games and stuff.
I think they would surpass Xbox with subscriptions, so people subscribing.
Yeah,
I think
that
they
too.
would 20 million. Dude, I think they would get 40 million easy
Probably
if
60.
they gave you
Solid
if
60.
they gave you the day one, if they gave you their games day one. I think Sony is woefully underestimating how many people would subscribe to their service, even for $20 a month, if they gave you their games day one, like Microsoft is doing. I just feel like Microsoft is like in the corner and they have a little secret, and it's right there for Sony to see, and they will not. And they're giving Microsoft time. I just feel like they're giving Microsoft time that they don't really deserve. Because
they're getting their momentum because that if you think about it, right, this whole year hasn't really had shit exclusive on the Xbox except for like maybe like 5 games like total. Gotta be 5 that were like big ass like exclusive games for the Xbox. Next year though, you got like Starfield. You got like a couple of other things that they're, I'm sure, planning on releasing at some point in time. Like they have more time now. You got a whole new year started out now. And so you have like all of this time where it's kind of like, Disney Plus and that first year that it was out and they ain't have shit. They ain't have like none of the Marvel stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then the second year though, they got all the shows rolling out, you know what I mean? And in the third year, they got even more shows rolling out and all of the other movies and stuff like that are now finally all on there. So it's like Disney Plus is a solid buy now if you really enjoy like all of the Disney stuff, the Marvel things and stuff like that.
It's just like the more
Star Wars, Mandalorian and stuff.
The more time they get, yeah, exactly. The more time
they're gonna get more pump. They're gonna get going.
Yeah, and the more people hear about it, word of mouth, and the more people commit to it. I think like if Sony came out and really pumped it and marketed it, people would be like, I'm good. I don't need the Xbox. I have PS Game Pass. And they'll just stick with PlayStation Game Pass. I think a lot of people would, and they'd be like, I'm good. I don't need Game Pass. But they're giving Game Pass all this time to build a subscription base and please their customers, So it's like, it's just crazy, man. It's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and Crunchyroll got bought out by Sony. Crunchyroll got bought out by Sony, but they still staying. They're gonna be
around. They're good.
And the 5 months for the EA Pass, I got the Ultimate one, so I think that's
you do
in there. So
that includes the EA Pass.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, man, did they nickel and dime you for everything? So that's 20 right there, then, right?
It's 15.
Oh, that's 15. Okay.
Yeah, 15 covers all of it.
Okay, all right, yeah. So. Yeah, that's understandable. But I mean, yeah, this is definitely gonna be something to behold. You know what I mean? But like all of the games that PlayStation gives away now for PS Plus subscribers are like primo games. So when you compare them to the shit that Xbox is giving away on their Live with Gold, like I forget that they even have that stuff. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like it's part of the Game Pass. Like,
gold is trash. Gold is trash. But what I'm saying here is,
but this is saying that it's still going to give you the game, the PS Plus games as well as all of the other shit.
Right. So when I asked you what tier that you would access, when I look at this, I access tier 1. I just keep PS Plus. I don't see tier 2 or tier 3 being compelling enough at all. Like, so this doesn't really change the game, is what I'm trying to say. At least not for someone like me. If it was like if I was getting PS5 games, then I'm thinking about tier 2ing it up.
Right? Yeah, definitely. That's why I said tier 2 looks like it would be the one because it's like right now, you're getting everything at that point. But
like right now it's tier 1, and they didn't get an extra dime out of me.
Yeah, I mean the only thing that I would have to see is like if you got tier 2, if they're giving you PS4 games on day 1. So like the games that if God of
games though.
Well, I'm saying, they still dropping them shits. But if you get God of War 2022 or whatever,
for one more year,
and they're giving you just in a PS4 version, then I'm okay with that. Like I'll play the PS4 version.
The last one? Is God of War the last one? Because Horizon's PS5 only, right? I think they said Horizon was PS5 only. Is it?
Bro, I don't know, man. I think Horizon. I wouldn't be surprised if Horizon is on PS4 as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know if they're just doing it straight PS5, but I mean, it could be. They should that anything coming out next year should be PS5 only. They shouldn't be making shit else for the PS4. It should be like, hey, we'll see you on the other side. You know what I mean? That's if they want to sell these consoles, that's what they need to do, dude. Because they keep catering to the old gen, and it's like it's cool for them, but yeah,
no, it's coming to PS4 too. Supposedly it's going to be coming to PS4 at some point. So yeah, if they do that, then maybe one more year. But I just don't know, like, because this says it's just adding a large selection of PS4 games. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's including anything you get on PS5. So I think this is junk. But I do think that they're at least acknowledging that it matters.
Right.
And I hope that they eventually step foot into the ring legitimately and make the switch. Yeah, all in, because I think that they're falling behind. And it's like I was saying, and I think Arachne was like, agreeing to a degree, they're missing the boat right now. Like Sony's just missing the boat right now, I think. Yeah,
and you're getting to that point. You're getting to that point where it's like there's still going to be people, like my boy Brahms that just doesn't, he has an X. I think he has. No, he doesn't have an Xbox, but he plays, some of the Xbox games on like the PC or whatever. But if there was something he wanted to get, he would just, buy the game. He wouldn't get the subscription. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, he might play as much as like Anthony G does, where he might get like 3-4 games in a year. So it's like, I'm going to just buy those 3 or 4 games instead of like, I think if you add it up, like a whole year is like $150 or something like that, for Game Pass. Yeah. And, it's like, you might not even use it all that time. So maybe 2-3 games, you know what I mean? Catching some on sale, like, this Black Friday. If you was able to snag Guardians of the Galaxy for 25 or something like that, you know what I mean? You make it out like a bandit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think, I think there's a lot of gamers who are like that. You just play a few games a year. Yeah. But I think, like, if you can satisfy your gaming needs, like I was talking earlier, for $10 a month, I think like that's just so sick. And I just wish Sony would like jump into that game, because I think there'd be tens and tens of millions of people who would buy that service. And I think they're missing out on that. I think they're really missing out on that, man.
Nah. So he just got done with Assassin's Creed. I think my boy finally advanced to Miles Morales with his old lame ass. You gotta finish that shit, bro. Like, there's so many other games out there. Deathloop. Play Deathloop, man. But anyways, let's go ahead and hit up the last topic. I'm hella fancy, bro.
Fancy, man.
Yeah, so the last topic we talking about today is this BioShock rumor, man. So I guess they've been working on BioShock for like a cool little minute now. And it seems like it might be over in Antarctica. So I gotta ask you, Ray. I never paid attention to like the landscape or anything like that of BioShock until I was under the water. So did that plane go down somewhere on the icy, over by the icy seas, the icy shores over there?
There was no indication that it was in the Arctic Ocean or nothing like that.
So I'm wondering, or
near the Antarctic area. So. Yeah, this was kind of interesting to me, because I think for me, dude, my first thought is, when I think of the next BioShock, I mean, what do we have so far? We have water, we have sky. My next thought is space, right? Like, my next thought is like, you go to BioShock.
Space or desert, maybe?
Yeah, like, I wouldn't think Antarctic. That's crazy. But supposedly...
You gotta go ice, man. Ice, then desert, then space.
Supposedly, it's a snow setting, like it's like basically confirmed to be a slow setting, So
kudos, man, kudos! Finally,
nice,
100% of it, huh? That's a big accomplishment, dude.
Only a year behind.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's only a launch title, but
a launch title. Yeah, but
man, that's good shit, dude. It's good shit, man. I'm proud of you. What's your next game you playing?
That's funny, man.
But yeah, dude. I mean, I'm looking forward to another BioShock. If it goes back to kind of like the the older roots, I'd be okay with that. You know, I'm not sure exactly where they're gonna go with it, but I've liked all of the BioShock series. So I mean, just another one would be dope. So it says during a familiar time period or whatever.
Yeah, it's the 1960s.
I don't know exactly.
The same one as the original Bioshock. So it's going to be like the olden kind of like, that 50s feel. Kind of like how the original Bioshock kind of had like that 50s feel to it. I think like what's crazy is because a lot of this news broke on Colin Moriarty's podcast.
Right.
And Sacred Symbols, which I'm sub to, so I listened to that. And supposedly, man, 2K, this is like classified. This is like under lock and key, this game, dude. Like it's very, very close to the chest.
Yeah.
And supposedly they're putting a lot of like their eggs into this basket. Like they really want this to be something special, supposedly. And so
that would be awesome.
I didn't realize how much, I guess, clout they're putting into the Bioshock name, but I guess they really believe in it heavily.
I mean it's a solid title.
We've always loved it. I mean, it's one of my top 10 all times. Like it's in the top 10 all times. Right?
It's a great franchise.
It's an all-time game, but I wasn't sure just how much it is by people if it's like that. But to me, it is. I mean, to me, I want this to be a great game, but I am a little concerned about a snow landscape. Does that compel me?
They said snow landscape. They said like on some RPG type shit, like more sandboxy, more sandboxy. Totally. You know, I mean, so it's interesting. I mean, I've always felt like like BioShock did a good job at making linear-ish landscapes feel kind of, expansive. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it feels like you can go and explore a lot of the areas, but you don't have like a wide path. You know what I mean? So for this to be if it is sandbox where you can literally go as far as the eye can see, anything you can create, anything the light touches is all.
Like
if it goes to that,
the open world, what Elden Ring is to Dark Souls, this could be what this world is to BioShock, right? Open world finally.
Yeah,
that'd
man.
be dope, man.
So that would be sick. I mean, and especially like RPG in it, like you're leveling up your guy, and maybe you got like different skill trees or something like that. Taking like a totally different approach to it. That would be pretty awesome, man. I would be excited to see that. So I'm looking forward to hearing more.
And what I heard was that this was supposed to be revealed at the VGAs this year, but it's probably got pushed back to E3. So we're gonna hear soon.
Okay.
We're gonna hear soon, man. Like that's kind of cool news. We're gonna hear soon on this. This isn't like years away from being released.
I hope it's not like a year or two away from being released, when they show it. I hope it's not like that. I hope that when they show it, it's like that year, later that year.
Yeah.
So if we see it like early January, it's like, July or November or something like that. We see it. Yeah, that's what I want. I hate getting like some of these, scoops of these new these games that, like these beloved IPs, and then it's just like it's so far off. Like, damn, how long ago did we hear of God of War, and that shit still ain't out yet?
Yeah, it's so nuts, Arachnid. BioShock was creepy for you, huh? But Resident Evil 7 wasn't. BioShock wasn't really creepy at all for me. Resident Evil 7 is creeps to me, man. That game.
Yo, I need to play it on the VR. I've been playing my VR headset because I've been going back into Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and I wanted to play it in VR, but I don't know. I might be irked out a little bit with that fucking old man.
Heart attack, man. Yeah. Like I'm an old man, man. I don't got a heart for that anymore.
Yeah, but I'm gonna still check it out though, because I want to see how it transitions. Because I played it for like about like an hour or two on the sticks. So if I put it with the VR headset on and it's a smooth ass transition, that's gonna be fucking wicked. And that would be a great example of how they should be doing all of these other games to be VR viable. So
yeah. For sure, man. Yeah. Totally. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm going to try it out. It is my ish. It's my shit for sure. Okay, the transition is good. All right, I'm nice.
You love that, man. You love that VR. You love it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, so I I mean, that's all we got for you guys this week. We appreciate everybody for stopping in and saying what's up. You know, Arachnid, Anthony, Samurai, Blue. Who else? Smooth. You know what I mean? Anybody else? If I forgot your name or whatever. Oh, Diggs. Shouts out to all of y'all. Yeah. Until next week, we'll catch you guys later. Deuces.
Peace.
I love you, me.